So I see you're using zeolites as a medium in here, and then I noticed
I'm actually using soil in there. I'm going beyond what everybody else is telling me I can do. Well, they're what they're called. That's a hydroponic. This is the bag it comes in.
Mm-hmm.
There's its spelling.
Right. Yeah, it's an expanded clay.
It's expanded clay. Right.
Right.
And I've used it for many years, and it works pretty well. And I've never replaced any. I've been able to use it right up. And then I started putting this dirt in the middle of it, and that really changed things.
So that you started your seedling, in other words, in the soil. And when you say dirt, that's a rather generic term. I'm assuming this is a potting medium.
Yeah, it's a potting soil.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. It's a regular potting soil. Excuse me, I'm working on
like that fox farm down there under the bed.
Yeah, that's what I use.
I have a question. Then you've insulated your buckets over here. Is that to keep the medium in the solution cooler?
That's correct. What happens when you keep it cooler?
Well, they don't overheat and it doesn't evaporate. Other than that, I can't come up with any answers.
And when it gets warm, it takes all the oxygen out of the air.
Out of the water. You
mean?
mean?
Out of the water. Excuse me. Out of the water.
Yeah.
And
okay.
That's why.
What kind of?
And the other thing is that it runs 10 degrees cooler than outside, and I haven't put any refrigeration on it. You know, totally natural thing.
What kind of string bean are you using?
This is a pole bean that I'm using. It's the first time I've used a pole bean in a hydroponic. This is actually designed for cucumbers. And what I really have here is two different systems, but they're both the same, if that makes any sense. Right there where those two tanks are, it splits. And you got tomatoes on one side and supposedly cucumbers on this side, but I wanted to try beans. It's only been there about 3.5 days.
Okay, so the air pump over here runs to this series of 1/4-inch lines. The 1/4-inch lines come right on in here and push air inside the tank that displaces the liquid, so then it is drawn up through these here, and that's coming out of the big tank here into this tank over here, which just creates a level, and then it feeds into each individual tank from the tubes below. Cool.
But I mean, water seeks its balance, so it just balances out. You know? Zoom, harvested. Zoom, planted, done. The other thing is, if the power goes out, I won't have any problem. It'll continue to work.
When you say it'll continue to work, does it just operate a siphon then at that point?
No, it's the water level's as high.
Just stays there.
And I can very easily manually, fill it if I have to.
I see.
And all of this can run on solar. And I don't have it hooked up to solar yet, but I will.
And so,
but this is truly my favorite. It's the least amount of work, and pretty productive for not doing any work. So I'm going to change it here. I'm going to go all 20 feet here that you see, and I'm going to make an A-frame. I'm going to have 10 20-foot 4-inch PVC pipe, all hooked up the same way, only 10 of them instead of 3.
So this is 4-inch PVC here,
yep.
And you're feeding with what's this, 1.5 inches?
I'm feeding the other direction, and it doesn't matter what you feed it with, just as long as, you can feed it with 3/4 if you want. You can feed it with 4-inch if you want. Doesn't matter.
And so that's your reservoir right there.
And I've buried it slightly. That's a regular trash can, so.
Okay, and then so this has a pump in it somewhere. How does this pump up? It's internal.
Strictly
submerged
pump,
submersible.
and it's a half a horsepower. It's way too much.
Yeah, sure.
And it just simply fills this thing up every hour. Just fills all the things up. So it's basically an ebb and flow, not because of beauty. And not that I have any intention to have anything but my fish die naturally.
Yeah.
Take this out and put in a king siphon here. And what that means is a king siphon is, I'll have a fish tank out there and I'll have a pump that runs into here 24/7. And what happens is that You remember, this is all black cinder except for a little place right here where I'll protect this, and then I'll have a king siphon. And I'll just protect it with something to keep the dirt, the gravel, the black cinder out, and basically it becomes a sump. And you know, that piece of plastic will just sit like this, and then my king siphon will sit in the middle of it, and the rest of it will be cinder, black cinder, and then there's a pipe within a pipe, and as the water fills up, the inner part fills up, and as soon as it fills up, it kicks it up, and the whole tank drains. Of course, I'm figuring about 150 gallon because I'll have the rest of it filled.